Hello, everybody. We are ready to begin the reading for day 4, which will include chapter 2, and we're going to read text 31 through 53. And I promise you, we're going to start to get into some of the really juicy verses in the Bhagavad-gītā. I'm going to make 2 videos for this because the reading is divided into 2 sections, text 31 through 37, and then text 38 through 53. So let's first do text 31 through 37. The subject in these texts is called Sakama karma. Sakama karma, which we could translate that as duty for the sake of material enjoyment, being dutiful in life for the sake of attaining material pleasure. Now, this is an interesting topic because the Bhagavad Gita, so much of it is actually going to speak against this way of thinking. And as a matter of fact, in our second part of the reading, in text 38 through 53, which is on something called Nishkāma. Now, Sakama means with desire for material pleasure. Nishkama means without the desire for material pleasure. Nishkama karma yoga. So this is Sakama karma, doing activities because I want to get some material enjoyment from it. Bhagavad Gita is going to speak against that, but because Arjuna is so confused, because Krishna just gave him a whole slew of verses with jnana, with knowledge, saying how the body is not, the soul and the body are different. The body's always going to die. The soul is eternal. So don't be so concerned about all these people that are going to die in this battle. Arjuna seems to have not responded to that. And so Krishna is saying, in the chapter 1, you had all these questions about, will I be happy if I fight this battle? Or will it be sinful if I fight this battle? These ideas are coming from Arjuna's training in the 4 Vedas, right? That teach about how to be dutiful, how to act in such a way where you don't accrue bad karma in life. Therefore, you be very dutiful. In his case, his duty was to be the warrior, the protector of the people, to step up, to even risk his life, to protect innocent people. He's very used to that role. And when he asks these questions, it seems like killing these people is a bad thing to do. I'll get bad karma and I won't find happiness, because when you're dutiful in life, then it should lead to happiness, right? Dharma, artha, kama, right? I want to fulfill my material desires, and if I'm good in the world, then the natural reaction from the world will be, I'll find material pleasures in life. The Vedas talk about this. They talk about, if you're dutiful, if you're grateful and perform the rituals that express this gratitude and duty, then you will receive good karma, and you'll even find yourself elevated to the higher planets in the material world, where there's great enjoyment for very long lifetimes. And the warrior understood that I'll risk my life to be dutiful. And even if I die in doing so, that's okay, because that action is so dutiful that the response, the reaction to that, I will, if I die in the battlefield, then I'll go to the higher planets, right, where I could enjoy life for a very long time with a lot of material enjoyment. So in this section on Sakama karma, being dutiful for the purpose of enjoyment, Krishna is going to say, Arjuna, you were worried about that you wouldn't be happy if you fight this battle, right? All these people that you know are going to die, I won't be happy. Krishna kind of flips it on him. If you want to talk about duty from the Vedic perspective, well then in text 32, he's saying, Sukhina Satriya Partha. Oh Partha, oh Arjuna, Sukhina Kshatriya, the Kshatris, the warriors, they're happy that these opportunities come, because either they'll win a kingdom and find material happiness that way, or they'll rise to the heavenly planets if they die on the battlefield. So you find, if material happiness is what you're interested in, Arjuna, you should fight, right? You're saying, I won't get material enjoyment. No, it's the other way. If you want material enjoyment, you should fight in the battle. And then when he gets to text 33, like 33 through 37, they all deal with the concept of sin, bad karma. Will I get bad karma if I fight? And Krishna's saying, actually, it's bad karma not to fight here. it's your duty to fight. It's in text 33, he's saying it's adharmic not to fight. he says, if, however, I'll read text 31 and 32, which is speaking about happiness, right? Krishna says, considering your specific duty, this is your Vedic duty as laid out in the Vedic literature, as a Kshatriya, as a warrior, you should know that there's no better engagement for you than fighting on dharmic principles. And so there's no need for hesitation. O Partha, O Arjuna, happy are the Kshatriyas to whom such opportunities to fight when they arise. They open the doors to the heavenly planets. So if material enjoyment is what you want, then it makes much more sense to fight. And if this being bad karma is what you're concerned with, that it's sinful to do this battle and it'll bring bad reactions, then he says in text 33, if, however, you do not perform your dharmic duty of fighting, then certainly you'll incur sin. You'll get bad karma by neglecting your duties, unless you'll lose your reputation as a fighter. Try to understand it like this. Say there's a police officer. A police officer takes vows that I'll protect the innocent. A police officer is paid money to step in and take care of the situation if there is danger presented. So like if you're on a crowded subway platform and an innocent person is being attacked, everyone's going to turn to the police officer and say, it's your duty now to step forward and do something about it. And if that police officer says, I don't know, maybe I'll get bad karma by getting physical here, I think I'd rather just wander off and live like a yogi. Well, everyone's going to say, actually, you'll get bad karma by avoiding your duty here. That's the idea. And so that's what Krishna's saying. And then he speaks on this very materialistic level. In text 30 through 37, he's saying, Arjuna, you're going to lose your reputation. You spent all your whole life building up this reputation as a very dutiful man, as a very powerful warrior. People are going to speak badly about you. That's going to be very painful for you to hear. You're not going to find any happiness that way. So we're going to find very quickly Krishna is going to flip the switch, and he's going to begin to speak in a completely different way. He's going to step off the platform of Sakama karma. Arjuna, if you're thinking materialistically, then let me tell you, even from the materialistic viewpoint, you're better off doing your duty here. He's going to flip the switch and say, but better you come to a higher platform of thinking where you let go of the kama and you come to Nishkāma karma yoga. You still do your duty, that's the karma part, but Nishkāma without any material desire. Then it becomes yoga, it becomes something that's liberating, it will free you. And so that's where we go next. Then he's going to be saying the exact opposite. He's kind of going to be saying, wise people, they don't care what people say about them. Their happiness isn't dependent on any of these external things. Reputation, people speaking bad, whether people are speaking nicely about them or not so nicely about them, they have an even mind. It's this even-mindedness of someone who's Nishkāma, who's let go of the material desires that Krishna is going to ask Arjuna to come to that platform. So we'll go there next in the next video. Thank you very much. All right, everybody, let's get right into it. Days 4 readings, part 2, which is text 38 through 47. I'm sorry, 38 through 53. And this gets into some of the really important teachings of the Gita. I want to lay down a little background knowledge. It's going to be important to understand the context of what we're reading. But the Bhagavad-gītā, it's going to be referring to the previous text. It's going to be referring to the 4 Vedas. It's going to be referring to the Upanishads and the knowledge that grows out of them. But then it's going to innovate and provide a new way of understanding and a new way of practicing that's going to be unique to Arjuna. So just a little bit of background. In the 4 Vedas, it's called the Karma Kanda section of the Vedic literature, meaning it teaches how to cultivate good karma so that you can enjoy material life. It's a lot about rituals and a lot about duty. And then there's the Upanishads, which are saying, don't worry about material enjoyment. Focus on the spiritual. Don't do external duties to get external pleasures. Walk away from the external world. Walk away from your worldly duties and live a life of solitude beyond the materialistic duties of life, beyond concerns for material enjoyment. Go within, find your spiritual happiness within. That's taught in the Upanishads. It has a lot to do with renunciation, a lot to do with, whereas the Vedas had a lot to do with being dutiful in the world, the Upanishads have a lot to do with walking away from the world, letting go of your duties, whether they be in terms of family or in terms of society, and go within. Now, the Bhagavad-gītā, we could call it the Bhakti Kanda, but it's going to teach karma yoga and bhakti yoga. And karma, let's get into that. But this is going to, karma yoga it's something that caught Arjuna off guard in a sense. But what is karma yoga? Karma yoga is the combination of karma, which means action, or in this sense, you could say one's social duties in life, and jnana, or knowledge, right? You combine the two of them. In the karma kanda, action was being taught without the deep spiritual knowledge, without the knowledge I'm not my body, I'm not my mind. It was encouraging material enjoyment. It was a step up. But when you combine that with the Upanishadic knowledge of I am spirit, I'm not the body, I am eternal, I have happiness within. When you combine dutiful action in this world and infuse it with the knowledge of the Upanishads, rather than walking away from the world, it means making your social roles and your social duties and your action in that world your field of spiritual contemplation, your field of contemplating the Upanishadic knowledge of spirit. Combining that action with that knowledge, that's called karma yoga. Now you're doing action that's becoming liberating. It's freeing you. It becomes yoga. That's called karma yoga. And when we say Niṣkāma karma yoga, it means karma yoga being done without any desire to get anything material from it. That's where Krishna is about to go now. And to Arjuna, it's going to be a little confusing at first, because it sounds like you're telling me to do the dutiful stuff, fight this battle, be a good warrior, the dutiful stuff from the Vedas, but it also sounds like you're telling me to become very peaceful and very detached, not controlled by my senses. It sounds like you're telling me to do the two. I thought you had to choose between one or the other. Krishna is going to say, no, you combine the two. We call that karma yoga. And then as it goes further, we find that when that's infused with love, then it's called bhakti. All right, so let's get right into it. In text 38, Krishna changes the gears here a little bit. And he was just, in the previous verses, he was saying, if you want to be happy, if you want a good reputation, if you want to, enjoy the heavenly planets and all that, you got to be dutiful. But then he starts, in text 38, he says, be dutiful, but don't even consider happiness or distress. Text 38, he says, sukha, dukkha, same kritva. Sukha, dukkha, happiness, distress, same, don't even consider them. Be the same, whether it's happiness or distress is coming. Fight for the sake of fighting. Do it without considering happiness and distress. Loss or victory, loss or gain, victory, defeat. And by doing this, you'll never get bad karma, right? It's your acting not for, when the selfishness is taken out of the action, there's no reaction to it, right? A police officer can kill someone when he's doing it out of duty and there's no selfish motive. And when you act on that level in harmony with the higher laws, then there's no negative reaction. They're not prosecuted for it. And so similarly, we can move through this world being very active, very engaged socially, in terms of family, in terms of society, and not incur karma for it. And that is, it said, he gave a key here, do it without considering happiness and distress. Do it out of duty. And then he says in text 39, thus far I have described this knowledge to you through the analytical study. That was the text all about how you're not your body earlier in the second chapter. He says, now listen, as I explain it in terms of working without fruit of desires, fruit of results. That's karma yoga. He says, oh Arjuna, when you act with such knowledge, you can free yourself from the bondage of works. You can even fight a battle and not incur bad reactions for it. And then he glorifies the knowledge of karma yoga. He says, in this endeavor, this is text 40, in this endeavor there's no loss or diminution. In the Vedic rituals, if you don't do them just right, you screw the whole thing up and it doesn't work. And even whatever you gain through them, you eventually lose. Here, there's no loss or diminution. Even a little advancement on this path will protect you from the most dangerous type of fear. And now text 41 through 46, he begins to speak about the karma yogi who has this one-pointed intelligence. He's comparing it to the person that's deeply involved in the karma kanda, who wants to follow the Vedic rituals for material gain. And so he says, Arjuna, those who are on this path, they're resolute in purpose. They got one purpose. Their aim is one. The intelligence of those who are irresolute is many-branched. Men of small knowledge are very attached to the flowery words of the Vedas, which recommend various fruitive activities for elevation to the heavenly planets, which give good birth, power, and so forth. Being desirous of sense gratification and opulent life, they say there's nothing more than this. This is the goal of life. Be dutiful, be respectful, have the right attitude, do the right rituals, and enjoy materially. That's what life is about. Krishna says, powerful verse, text 44, Bhogaishvarya prasaktanam taya prahita chetasam vyavasayatmaka buddhi samadhau. Samadhi, he's talking about samadhi. Samadhau no vitiyate. In the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence. You're talking about being happy. Will this war bring me happiness? I'm telling you, wiser people aren't thinking like that. In the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination, the samadhi, the one-pointed focusedness never takes place. And he goes on, he's going to speak against this Vedic idea of material enjoyment. Text 45. The Vedas deal mainly with the subject of the three modes of material nature, how to enjoy the stuff of this world. O Arjuna, become transcendental to these three modes. Be free from all dualities and from all anxieties for gain and safety, and be established in the self. Don't try to establish yourself in this external world, which is always slipping away. Go within and be established within yourself. That's an Upanishadic idea. And honestly, that kind of appeals to Arjuna right now. He was saying, I want to live like a beggar, right? He was saying that in yesterday's reading at the beginning of the second chapter, I would prefer to live as a beggar. That means he's one of these yogis who has no social role, no occupation whereby they gain money. So this is appealing. Okay, I like what you're saying now. Be free from all dualities, like if I win or lose this war, I don't even want to fight this war. And become established in the self, right? Go within. And then he says this, interesting verse, text 46, all the purposes served by a small well can at once be served by a great reservoir of water. Similarly, all the purposes of the Vedas can be served by one who knows the purpose behind them. The Vedic scriptures teach that we have debts to the god of rain, the god of the sun, to the goddess of the river. Everything that we've received in life, we owe debts for. You should do rituals and sacrifices to pay that debt. And you have to do so many of them. On Monday, you have to do this one. On Tuesday, that one. On Wednesday, this one. People are doing all these different yogis. He's using an analogy that all the purpose is served by a small well. In India, you have a well over here for washing your clothes. And then you have a well over here for things like cooking or pure water for doing your puja and so on like that. You don't wash your clothes or bathe your body where you get the water that you're using for these more pure activities. But if you have a river, you can do everything there. You can wash your clothes, you can get food for cooking, you can do whatever you want. You can take a bath in it because there's so much water is pouring by, whatever you get is going to be pure. He's saying similarly, if you know the purpose of the Vedas and that ultimately it's meant to connect you to the divine, well, then you just focus on this. You just do your detached devotional service. And everything that you need to cover, all your debts to the devas and all that is covered. So, okay, this is a new type of yoga he's talking about, but he's going to say, but you don't walk away from the world, you stay engaged. And so in text 47, famous verse 47, so between 47 and 49, how do you practice this Niṣkāma karma yoga? He begins by saying, you have the right to perform your prescribed duty. That's your qualification, Arjuna. You're not qualified to walk away. You're qualified to work in this world. but you're not entitled to the fruits of the action. Never consider yourself to be the cause of the results of your activities, and never be attached to not doing your duty. Perform your duty equipoised, O Arjuna, abandoning all attachment to success or failure. Such equanimity, such even-mindedness is called samatvam. Such equanimity is called yoga. This is text 48, famous verse. The definition of yoga. Be dutiful in this world. The definition of karma yoga, right? Be dutiful in this world. Do all your duties, but don't do them forgetting something. Be detached. And having that even mind as you're dutiful is called yoga. He goes on to say, those that are trying to get the things of this world, ultimately they're misers. They're not thinking in a broad way. That's text 49. And in text 50, a person that's engaged in this karma yoga, in devotional service, they rid themselves of both good karma and bad karma. Therefore, strive for yoga, Arjuna, which is the art of all work. Now, text 50 through 53 are how to practice, are the benefits of Niṣkāma karma yoga, right? You won't get good or bad reactions. In text 51, by thus engaging in devotional service to the Lord, great sages or devotees free themselves from the results of work in this material world. In this way, they become free from the cycle of birth and death, and they attain the state beyond all miseries. When your intelligence has passed out of the dense forest of delusion, you shall become indifferent to all that has been heard, and you will become indifferent to all that has been heard and all that is to be heard. You're going to become indifferent to all of this Vedic talk about doing rituals and being dutiful to get the things of this world. When your mind is no longer disturbed by the flowery language of the Vedas, and when it remains fixed in trance of self-realization, then you will have attained the divine consciousness. We'll come back tomorrow for our reading for day 5, and we're going to get deep into that divine consciousness. Thank you all so very much. Please enjoy your reading of Bhagavad Gita today.